FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our Division III Game of the Week preview between the Denison Big Red and the Wittenberg Tigers. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Big Red.
Offensively, the Big Red can roll up the yardage at 420 yards a game, as well as points. They average 34 points a game. Quarterback Brandon Skleiner is a guy that's a dual-threat dynamo that has thrown 9 touchdowns and is also the team's leading rusher. The problem for Denison, their defense. It gives up 30 points a game at 320 yards a game. At some point, you're going to run out of bullets in the middle of a shootout, and this week versus Wittenberg, the Big Red must protect their defense by slowing down the pace of the game while still staying ahead of the chains and moving the football. Now let's move over to Wittenberg in his ball game, and the Tigers come into this matchup with one of the best defenses in Division III, only giving up 14 points a game and 1.9 yards a carry on the ground. What has been most impressive about the Tigers has been the depth in their football team. They have a healthy rotation on their defensive front seven, and that aids them in being able to apply nonstop pressure throughout the course of the game and get off the field on third downs. On offense, keep an eye on wide receiver Brandon Cunningham, who doubles as their return man, and he's a big play waiting to happen for this Tiger offense. The X factor in this game for Denison will be their defensive coordinator, Zach Brent, and what he can dial up to help a defense that is giving up 30 points a game and 320 yards a game. That right there will get you beat. If he can alleviate some of that pressure off that offense, Denison can win this football game. The X factor for Wittenberg will be their outstanding linebacker, Spencer Leno. It's going to be his job probably to spy Brandon Skleiner, the outstanding dual threat quarterback for Denison, keep him contained, and they can win this ball game. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ballgame. For Denison, the first two are very simple football type coaching points. You have to move the chains, especially going against one of the tougher defenses in Division III, and you also have to win early on defense. That builds that confidence for that defense that's struggling, and it allows you to get that football back for your explosive offense. And on defense as well, you want to bracket Desi Kirkman. He's your number 2 wide receiver opposite of Brandon Cunningham, and he's much more explosive, so you definitely want to bracket him and take your chances with their number 1 wide receiver. And for Wittenberg, you don't want to get into a track meet with Denison. This is a football team that would love to get into fast break football with you guys. You have to slow down the pace, dictate the tempo, and you can win this matchup. And you have to remain gap disciplined versus Brandon Skleiner, one of the better quarterbacks at this level. And you also have to win the special teams battle. Win 2 out of the 3 aspects of a football game, and you can knock off the Big Red, who's coming in looking for the upset. Now here are some 2014 draft prospects you want to keep an eye on in this ballgame. For Denison, linebacker Joel Elliott is an outstanding player, one of their leading tacklers on this squad. And for Wittenberg, 2 guys, Brandon Cunningham, 6'3", 220 pounds. And if you haven't seen this guy play, tremendous leaping ability, can high point the football. And Aaron Coling is one of the best offensive linemen in Division III. He actually made our preseason D3 All-American team, 6'2", 285-pound senior. Before he became a legend at Ohio State, Woody Hayes was a legend at Denison. He played for the Big Red from 1933 to 1935 and also coached there from 1946 to 1948. He led Denison to back-to-back undefeated seasons in 47 and 48 and is the only coach in program history to do so. And this entire Wittenberg program is a legend. Since 1955, this is a program that only had 1 losing season, 5 national championships, and 29 conference titles. I like Wittenberg in this ball game. When you look at both teams fighting for the number 1 spot in the North Coast Athletic Conference, and Wittenberg's defense is also very good. You look at a team that has pitched 2 defensive shutouts already. They even challenged Division I Butler to a football game and played those guys very well. So I like Wittenberg and what they bring to the table, and I can't trust Denison's defense giving up 30 points a game to go on the road and knock off the Tigers.